Okay. Huh?
It's frozen already? Wow.
Wow.
Either that or it
Jesse's got a virus.
what you're using your OBS, maybe they made some changes and it just broke everything.
OBS broke some things.
Or whatever
You
the
can't see the dance I'm doing, but it's
um
really cool.
pretty much. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't say. So what was Vimini's question? Oh,
Disgorged.
no, I have a question about it. I've never used Kickstarter, but it says we needed to reach the goal by August 31st. What
Oh,
exactly does that
yes.
31st or 21st?
It's the 21st, actually. So yeah, August 21st is the deadline for all of the pledges to be in for the Kickstarter campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so you can go there, and I know Princess posted a link up above in the chat, so you can go there and check it out. It's really cool, and I know we do hear from time to time people say, "Man, I love this stuff. I wish I could donate or anything like that, but I don't have any money." Hey, there's a whole list of possibilities of things you can do
That's true.
to earn some money. We also, there's going to be more stuff rolling out over the course of the next 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be additions to the campaign. We're looking at some stretch goals. We're looking at running some sweepstakes of some stuff. We're looking at some giveaways. We're looking at other stuff that's not even in the Kickstarter. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to be building over the next few weeks, and it's super duper exciting.
Yeah.
So this is a great time to be part of BSS and to be part of the community,
Cool.
because there's a lot of stuff's about to happen in the next couple weeks.
So
So
Vimini, basically what it means is like if we don't reach the number, we're trying to raise $10,000. If we do not reach that number, then everybody gets their money back.
mhm, that's right.
But if we do reach the goal, then we get to go through with everything we promised and want to give. So
Hmm.
that's the goal. The goal is there to say by the 21st of August, we have to reach $10,000. Otherwise, everybody gets their money back and we get nothing.
Hmm. Yep, that's right. So, and pretty much that money is going to order all of the stuff that's
Yeah.
involved in the campaign.
Yes, we have all of that stuff like the plushies um and the CDs and the book, everything.
Hmm.
That costs us money to make
Right.
to your hands. So if we don't have, because we don't just have that kind of money to make all that stuff and then sell it. It costs it costs more money than we have to actually get that stuff so we can give it to you guys.
Hmm.
Um, so we run a Kickstarter campaign so we can get the merchandise so that we can give it to you guys.
Hmm. It's super exciting.
Yeah.
And if you don't have money, just go check out. Just scroll down to the bottom of the thing. That's the number one objection in the common objections section.
Mm.
The common objection section.
Yeah. Kind of objection section. When it,
Yeah, I think a time limit's kind of cool, because it actually all the stuff that we're putting on here is limited edition. So it's like this is the only time we're going to make this stuff like this. Now we may be making stuff in the future, like we may still have a Criminal Idol CD, but it's going to be different. Like
Mhm.
it's gonna have the same songs, but it's gonna be different. The USB will be different. The plushie will be different. All of that stuff. There is never gonna be another run of the product that's involved in this campaign. So this is it basically.
Yeah, you will never get, like, if you wanted the plushie, this is the only chance. And we didn't want to do something that, just lasted forever, because that isn't our intention to make those forever and ever and ever. We just want to make them now. For those people who are involved in the series, because Criminal Idol is an ongoing series, but eventually at some point it's going to stop, right? And we don't want to continue at that
Mhm.
point, Um, and yeah, it's cooler. It works out better for everybody if it's just a certain amount of time.
Yes. Update. Oh, whoa, that would do it.
Well then,
Why did you take out your video card, Jesse? Oh, the driver's not installed. You should install a driver.
thanks for stopping.
Oh, okay. Yes. All right, so we should handle some more of these issues, do you think?
Yeah, let's go for it.
You can't win a pie eating contest, Sparrow?
What? Why is there no pie eating contest? No, just kidding. Like you picked the most obscure one. I like that. You can't win a pie eating contest. Like what is that? What, you can't eat. You're allergic to pies or something? No, you can still do that even if you're allergic to pies. I mean, to make that sacrifice. No, just kidding.
Well, I certainly understand, Sparrow. I understand being there and
Yep.
having trouble raising money. And you know what? Here's the thing. We're not gonna think any less of you.
Yeah, we do not mind. We're just appreciative of those who help or those who give us support, and we appreciate those who don't have the money to do it, and that's totally cool. Thing is, you still get something out of this too, believe it or not. Even if you haven't donated anything, your money helps or the other people's money has helped to fund us to get you more things too.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, if we don't make money in general, then the business is gone. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll still do work,
right.
but it will be a lot slower, right? It's like getting you guys the rest of the Criminal Idol stuff or creating new songs is a no go if no have money type of
Mhm.
thing. So whether you can support us or not, we're still gonna get you things that you can view and enjoy.
That's right. That's right. And it's crazy because I do this. I do BSS. I love every minute of my work here at BSS. But I also have two other jobs.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Live chat disappeared. You're a wizard, Harry. It didn't disappear. I see it. Well, that's because you don't have a video card, Jesse. Leo needs pie now. You could totally win a pie eating contest. Oh, no live chats are being written on the stream. I see.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha. Hey,
Oh,
Angel.
have a good one. We
Have
love
a
you.
great rehearsal.
Yeah.
The videos are blacked out. We're not frozen. Just let it go. Let it go. It was hilarious the other day. Our martial arts instructor was playing Disney music during martial arts class. It
Mm,
was
get you
grand.
pumped up. Well, there's
Oh
one
man,
song that I think fits, and that's from Mulan.
from Mulan.
Yeah.
Let's get down to business
Um,
to defeat the Hun.
did you know the Huns were not Mongolians?
They were Huns.
That's right. Do you know who the Huns were?
Yeah, they were the Huns.
No. What's the nationality of the Huns?
Hun.
No.
Honeys.
Honey. Anybody tell me who the Huns were? I would be impressed. I'll give you the answer, of course, if no one can give the answer in the thing in the chat. Japanese? No.
Hmm.
Thai? Nope, not Thai.
But Thai food is good.
I think the only way you'll get the answer is if you actually know the answer, because you wouldn't just put this out here. You wouldn't just assume. Nope, not Malaysian.
American.
Yeah. We went back. It is. Yeah. You there. If you knew, you would, if you knew because Joe knows.
Oh no, nobody got.
Oh no. Oh no.
Are we all back like with our video and everything?
Nice.
This is gonna make it. We're gonna do it.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
all fixed.
The answer was the Turks, or the Turkish people were the people who were the Huns.
Yes.
You're like, wow, but aren't they really far east? Well, they were an invasive country, honestly, for like 6,000 years. Like they are still this way to the day. Not as bad as they used to be, but have you ever heard of jihad?
Mm-hmm.
Turks were involved with that too. Their nation is very set on getting and destroying and getting land and so on. But anyways, yeah, the Turks moved that far, all the way out to China, and they had taken Mongolia as part of their territory and then fought China. That's so the Huns. That's why they were such a threat to China. Is like, oh my gosh, these people who have conquered lands and many lands and many lands are coming for us now. And that's where the Hun.
You know, there are only two things I think about when I think of turkey.
Food.
One is Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
And two is now it's Istanbul, it's not Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, it's not Constantinople. Now it's a long time gone to Constantinople. You know that song?
No.
Ah, man, somebody in the chat knows that song.
I'll tell you what, though. One thing I think about is
what's that?
the Turkish taco house.
That's actually not Weird Al, Princess, but it was a very good guess. It's actually They Might Be Giants.
Oh.
Yes.
Frozen
yes. Forever now.
That's right.
Wait. This stream is just going crazy.
Yeah.
Jesse, you fought hard. So what's the verdict, Jesse? Tell it to us straight here. You've got nothing. Jesse's got nothing. Yes. Well, we are having technical difficulties all over the place.
Only an act of true love will break the spell.
Well. All right. Yes. So we'll continue on here. So our next in line.
Do you want to do Kira's? I think.
Yeah. But Kira, Sparrow, and Boogabug, are you here as well?
Amira technically just came by.
Yep, I see Amira in the chat. The universal solution and hit the problem. Just hit it. Just whack it. Okay. So, all right. So we may not get to all of these tonight, but we'll do our best. The next in line is Kirascendent Avatar.
Yeah. Sorry about all the technical difficulties this evening, guys.
Yes, but I will post this in the chat for you all.
This is the only time this has ever happened. It's kind of strange.
It
Oh well.
is. It is. Jesse's computer is usually like the bomb, and that's why.
Oh, AKD, welcome back. You're just in time. We're about to start one.
Yes. Yes. And I just posted a link to it. Kira Sendent, not Kira Descent. Kira Sendent. Avatar says, I suffer from mood swings and I feel like my emotions have too much control over my daily life. If I try to push through, I end up making a lot of mistakes or get physically sick. I want to work on improving my self control, but I don't know where to start.
Hmm.
And that is from Kira Sendent Avatar. And first of all, I want to say thank you for posting this because, I know there are a lot of people that struggle with this one, including myself. I have struggled with this a lot. And I have people very close to me that struggle with this. And people, I think it's just something that all of us kind of deal with from time to time. So I really appreciate you bringing this up. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ryan because he is just, if you could see him right now, he's like chomping at the bit, ready to say something. Like he's like, "Nom, nom, 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 nom." He's like,
Yeah.
I got something to say. I got something to say. Let me say it. And so that's why I'm continuing to talk right now because I'm just waiting for it to all like kind of like burst out of the seams, and I want to see this happen. So, and you guys are gonna miss it because Jesse's computer is all viral. It
Mm.
Jesse's computer went viral.
Oh, jeez. All
So,
right.
Ryan, take it away.
Yeah. No, I'm with Joe. Thank you for posting this. One thing I loved about your post, one thing I love about your post is this. You say, I want to work on improving my self-control. You've already figured out what the solution to your problem is. Way to go. Nice. A lot of times people are just like, wow, I have no emotional, like, I don't know. I do this crazy thing where I get mad and I just don't know what to do. Like, stuff like that. And then we're like, oh yeah, there's a thing called self-control. You've already figured that out. Perfect. It's a good, that's important. Now it's just where to start, how to start gaining that self-control. And there are many ways to start. There are many things you can start on, but I'll share, some of the things I've done in the past to work on this. And I'm sure Joe can attest to some of this as well. Excuse me. So I grew up, again, being a Roman Catholic. So we're Christian, and every once in a while we do this thing called fasting. Fasting. We do a fast.
Mm.
And that is where you give up or take on an action.
Mm.
Usually give something up for a period of time. We have something called Lent. It's the preparation of Christmas. And
Easter.
sorry, Easter. Yeah, not Christmas. Easter. Sorry. I got the wrong coming of Jesus. No. in mind. Okay. Yes, we do something called fasting during Lent, which is the preparation for Easter. Anyways, um, during this season, we fast, and so it's a season of 40 days, basically, or roughly. Um, and basically, that means doing this. You pick something that you're choosing not to do, as long as it doesn't make you unhealthy. You're picking something that you like doing, but you're choosing not to do it. Um, and that's essentially a fast, as simple as you can put it. When I was growing up, for me, it was meat on Fridays. Or sorry, yeah, meat on Fridays. Every Friday, you could not eat meat. And so you try to figure out how do I diet myself? How do I find something to eat right now that doesn't have meat in it? And then you'd figure it out, and then you'd go follow through with that plan for the whole day. Another fast that I did when I got older was interesting. It was also involving food. Now, it doesn't have to, but this one was an interesting fast because it's a type of fast that forces you to have a new type of self control. It's self control in the moment. and that is this. Um, and I've shared this many times, but I used to take a sandwich with me for work on my way. I worked driving around all day, and I would buy a sandwich in the morning, and then at lunchtime I would eat half of the sandwich, and I would still be hungry. And then I would put it to the side, and I would give myself a time, and I would say, I will eat the rest of that in 2 hours. And it would sit there right next to me for 2 hours while I was hungry, because like when you start eating and then you just immediately stop, you're like, but I'm still hungry. I want to eat. But, if I was choosing, like, you know what? Yeah, I have that sensation, but I'm just not going to eat it for 2 hours. And then 2 hours pass. You know what I found by the end of that 2 hours? It's like, oh, yeah, I forgot about it for a lot of that time. All right, I'm ready to go again, and then I eat the sandwich, right? I put it on delay. So
Mm.
a fast doesn't necessarily have to be that you don't do something at all. It could be a delay to something, right? Something like this creates self control. But there's another type of fast, of course, that's doing something, something you don't normally do. Um, Now, usually people don't call this a fast, they just would call this self control. But if you choose to exercise or something every morning and you stick to it, right? Regardless of how you feel, you just do it. Maybe it's pressing the alarm when you wake up in the morning. Don't do that. Just get up. Don't press that snooze button. Or, Joe's recommended this as well. Make your bed when you first wake up in the morning. That's an act of self-control. Um, but one thing that I found most effective in doing this is this. For a time, I was doing a fast where I gave up coffee. Now,
Mm.
I'm not that into coffee where
Mm.
it's like a big deal. Some people are way more into coffee than I am.
Me.
But but the thing I did, important for me, was this. I would not drink coffee unless it was Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday and Sunday, coffee was the only thing I was allowed to drink
What?
other than water,
Oh, okay.
other than water. But here's the thing, I had to drink coffee on Saturday and Sunday. So, no drinking coffee Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I had to drink coffee on Saturday and Sunday. And the reason why I did that was because if I just quit cold turkey and was like, "Yeah, no more coffee," after 2 weeks, I wouldn't care. But because I forced myself to drink on Saturday and Sunday, throughout the rest of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I wanted it. I wanted it more than normal, but I knew I couldn't have it because I was choosing not to, right? So this type of thing was really, really effective, really a great fast. Now, for me, I do it for religious reasons, um, and that might seem kind of strange. One, it's for self growth, which is a religious thing, because my religion, God wants the best for us, and so taking actions that create more self control is a good thing.
Mhm.
Um, but also, it it's to help us go closer to God. When I took those drinks of coffee on Saturday and Sunday, every time I took a drink, I would say something to God. I would make a little prayer or just say, I love you. Or thanks for creating coffee. I'm glad that this exists in the world. That's such a cool thing, right? And so it drew me closer to God because it reminded me of God. And then when I couldn't have it throughout the week, I was abstaining from it and I was creating self control in myself, but at the same time, giving honor to God by saying, I will take this minor sacrifice for your sake. And that's a form of worship. People used to sacrifice things like animals and so on for worship. And today we don't do that much. But in self control, we do. We sacrifice ourselves, we sacrifice our desires for something. Usually our emotions compel us to do things, right? But that's not always the right choice. And it's also if we can have an emotion that like makes us want to do something, but then choose not to, choose to do a better thing, that's not just self-control. That's dignifying. Because the thing about being human is that we have more so than any other animal that exists. Between emotion and response, we have choice
Mm.
more than almost any animal in the world. Probably actually more than any animal in the world, period. Between stimulus and response, between the action that happens to us and how we respond, more than any animal in the world, we have that choice. We have control over our choice. We have recognition that we have a choice. And to carry that out, to take that action and make a choice is extremely dignified. It is extremely empowering. So to carry that out is beautiful, is enjoying, it's joyful. So anyhow, um, yeah, those are some of those are a few things you can maybe think about. Different options you can maybe take to gaining more self control. There's some practical things in there. You can choose whatever it is. Maybe you really like video games or something, or maybe you like playing or reading books or whatever it is. Maybe you like a certain type of entertainment. I tell you, the more you indulge in entertainment, the weaker you are to having control over yourself,
That's true.
and the weaker you are in creativity. A little bit a day is good. It's healthy, but just like
Hmm.
anything, too much is a poison. If you can maybe step back from entertainment a little bit, or if you can step back from different pleasures that exist around you, like even drugs. Well, I'm not saying that you've ever had drugs, but drugs are included. Drugs, in fact, are equivalent almost in this concept. They deprive you of your ability of choice and reason and control and creativity. A lot of that goes down when you are addicted to something. And by addicted, I don't mean just drugs. I mean, and you can be you can have a desire for good things, but addiction is usually something that we do that's bad for us. And we know it's bad for us, but we keep on doing it regardless of the consequence. That's what an addiction is. When you're doing something regardless of the consequence. And entertainment is one of those things that has a toll on our mind. It unfortunately can help us, but only in a certain amount. And if you get addicted to it, do it too much, it becomes a poison to our minds. Um, so, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna read through some of your comments while Joe does uh, gives you some wisdom on his part. So yeah,
Well, I will attempt to follow that amazing talk by Ryan. I understand now why you were chomping at the bit,
I was not.
because you were about to talk about fasting,
I
and
wasn't even chomping at it. It was just one bite
fasting
right
makes
through.
me want to chomp on things.
Mm, nice. I see what you did there.
um, but anyway, no, Kirsten, I really appreciate this, and um, there are times I work on self control. It's really tough. Like, what does that even mean? It's like, okay, self control means I am in charge of what I do. And when we have mood swings like you're talking about, and when we have emotional, ups and downs like that, we feel like we're out of control. We feel like we're not in charge anymore. And in a way, that's true, because we're kind of being told what to do by our emotions. And that's really, it's a tough, powerless feeling, really, because I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just being swept away by my emotions. But it happens, I mean, just yesterday it was happening to me, and it took me like the whole morning before I caught myself,
Hmm.
and realized, wait a minute, this is just going to wreck a whole lot of stuff if I maintain this mood I'm in. Now I had to deal with some stuff, I had to process some stuff, and I dealt with this, you know, kind of bitter anger for a while, for a morning. So I mean, even you might listen to us and think, oh, we've got it all together, but really, man,
Yeah, this is something we all have to deal with every end of the month. Just
right?
that one period of time. No, I'm just kidding.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we all have to deal with it for sure.
Yep. So it's crazy, but I'll tell you,
Hey, or else we get bad at it.
yeah, I think, we did an interview. Ryan and I did an interview about the Don't Worry Wednesday series, and one of the questions in the interview was, what makes you qualified to do this? And my answer was basically, the only thing that makes me qualified is that I've messed a lot of things up. And so because I have such a high rate of failure, I understand what that's like. And so I can empathize with people,
Yes.
you know? And so like we're not qualified in the sense that, we have degrees and schooling and education in psychology, is basically comes from the fact that we've had a lot of problems
Hmm.
and we've worked through a lot of problems. And so what we try to do is help other people work through problems. But at any rate, it's built right into a mantra we say at class in Taekwondo. There are creeds that we state at the beginning and ending of class, and the one at the ending says, "Sir, I shall live with perseverance in the spirit of Taekwondo, having honor with others, integrity within myself, and self-control in my actions, sir." And so that's something we say every time, and it's a little reminder for us to have self-control.
Mhm.
And so that's something you can do. And I see your I I see your comment that says, you eventually after a few days you think, this is useless, this is dumb, this is whatever. And so you kind of like let go of a practice after a few days because it just seems like it's useless. And I can totally understand that feeling because it does. You start getting in, you start feeling like you're in a rut. And it's like, "Oh, I'm just doing this over and over and over again. I'm not seeing any benefit from it. It's not doing me any good, whatever." But that's just a few days. You don't really start to see the benefit of a practice until you've done it for like 30 days. And that's also built into exercise training programs and stuff like that. A lot of people will start an exercise program, and then after 2 weeks, they're like, "I'm not seeing any results. I'm gonna quit." But you don't see results after that short period of time. You definitely don't see results after a few days. In fact, when you have not exercised at all for years and then you start an exercise program, the first few days really, really stink because it hurts and you're sore and you're stiff and you have trouble moving and it's just, oh man, why am I doing this to myself? This is ridiculous. Ugh. And and it's terrible. So a lot of people quit after a few days, and then after a few weeks, they're like, "Well, I'm not seeing any results. I'm going to quit." But the results really don't start to come until at least a month, maybe two. In fact, there's a workout program that I've done multiple times from a place called HIT Academy, HIIT Academy, and they have a great program, but it's 8 weeks. And so you basically at the beginning, you're like, I'm committing to do this 8 week program and I'm not going to judge my results until the end of it. Right. Now you take progress pictures every 2 weeks. So you kind of assess your progress every 2 weeks and and you see the changes happening. But after the first 2 weeks, you don't see much of a change. After the first month, maybe a little bit, because it's a pretty effective program. But then after the end of the whole 8 weeks, you look at the two pictures of yourself and you're like, what just happened to me? Like, I have gotten in way better shape. And that's just an 8 week program, which is pretty cool. But I've also heard experts in the field of exercise, like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock,
The
you know,
Rock.
yes, I've
Like,
heard, and he's counseled a lot of people, a lot of actors through body transformation periods. And he has said to people, "Oh yeah, you're looking at 8 months minimum,
wow.
and it's going to include like to do this body transformation to go from out of shape looking to like ripped, right? There's going to be, it's going to involve your entire lifestyle, you know, your regular regimen of exercise plus what you eat." All of that's going to change. And so, really, what you're doing in that sense is you're adopting a new lifestyle. And I think that's really important to recognize in a lot of things. If you're going to change something about who you are, whether it's your mood swings, whether it's your physical fitness, whether it's your mental fitness, how you spend your time, whether you're like Ryan was talking about, spend a lot of time imbibing entertainment, or are you learning something? Are you doing something productive with your mind? You know, all anything. It's going to be a change of lifestyle. And so the way to step into that is not all at once. The way to step into a lifestyle change is gradually. You start by adding some things and you start creating some habits. And I would recommend creating one habit at a time. And in this case, to improve self control, I would say take on a discipline and you can choose which discipline. I generally recommend physical activity, physical exercise, because there's so much that happens as a result of physical exercise. Jesse is pounding away on stuff right now. It's amazing. Like if you guys could hear right now what's going on in our headphones,
Pretty sure he just dropped a shelf.
I think or his house fell over or something. But I'm telling you, to start a regimen of physical activity, whether it's running, biking, I would recommend making it something inside that's simple. You can run in place, you can do jumping jacks, you can do all kinds of different at-home exercises. You can find them on YouTube all over the place. Exercises that require no equipment that you can do at home that do a really good job of getting you in shape. And it costs you nothing and it's done inside. So it doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing or really, really hot. It's just, it's really easy to work it into your schedule. And a lot of them don't take very long to do. So, but what happens? What happens after 30 days of doing that? Well, one, you're in a lot better shape. You find yourself, hey, I can get in and out of the car a lot easier. I can go up and down stairs a lot easier. I'm not as winded when I do these things. You feel better. You think more clearly. And you've developed a discipline, which is evidence of having self-control. And now you can honestly say to yourself, I have self-control. I have done this for 30 days. I have self-control. And that's a major success. And when you start having those successes, that self-control finds its way into other areas of your life, including your emotional mood swings. Here's another thing about the relationship between mood swings and exercise. I know that I have a lot more volatile of moods. Like they go up and down, they kind of go crazy and they run away from me. They get out of my control when I'm not exercising. When I do exercise, it's almost like I'm I'm showing myself that I'm in charge because I made myself do this exercise. I made myself do it. And so I'm in charge because naturally I don't want to do it.
Hmm.
But when I make myself do it, I feel like I'm in charge. And
Mhm.
that raises your self-esteem and it raises your ability to control what's going on. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to choose exercise. You can do any type of discipline. But I would say do something for 30 days. Pick something that's productive that you can add into your life, even if it only takes a minute. It could be journaling. It could be writing in a journal every day. It could be, you know, praying every day. It could be meditating every day. It could be visualizing things you want every day. It could be a daily affirmation. And I have not made this book recommendation in a long time. But one book that absolutely changed the way I live and has helped me in so many ways is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I will probably say how awesome that book is until the day I die, because he even spelled it out. He had a 30-day checklist. I'm going to do all these things for 30 days every morning. It doesn't have to take a long time, but it's just getting yourself into the habit. You know what's crazy? Sometimes I've modified some of the things. I don't always do all 6 of the practices he has, but at least 5 of them I do every day. Every single day. It's like, whoa. That's been how long have I been talking about that book, Ryan?
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know, like years.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And I still maintain those practices.
Half maybe or something. I don't know.
Yep. And it's daily. And I don't keep track of it anymore. But it's just become a habit. And there it is. Kira Sendit says, I have a couple questions. Well, feel free to post your questions, because that's about the extent of what I had to say. Oh, one more thing. You say if I try to push through, I end up making a lot of mistakes. That's okay, because I make lots of mistakes too.
Yeah.
In fact, I have my kids programmed they know what I'm good at. What's Dad good at? Messing it up.
It up. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yep. Oh, Princess just said the miracle equation, and I think did the link to the Miracle Morning.
That's all right.
They're both excellent books, but I would definitely recommend the Miracle Morning first. Like making wrong turns on the way to work. Yes, I make wrong turns all the time.
You know what? I figured out. Here's the thing: no matter how bad you make a wrong turn, you'll eventually get where you're going. So it doesn't matter.
That's true.
Like, don't worry about the moment. The moment will pass. It's not there forever. What's your objective? You'll get there.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a lot of times what we have to focus on. Don't worry about the moment. Worry about the objective. Because if you can focus on the objective, then you'll have a lot better control in the moment.
Oh,
Delivery
you're a
driver.
delivery driver. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's frustrating when you make a wrong turn. I understand. I'm a property inspector, so I spend my time driving around too. And every time I make a wrong turn,
Costs
it's
you
like,
minutes. Like,
I
oh,
know, cost me time, cost me money. It's like, yeah. Oh yeah. I did see your post here. Firstly, I often forget to do disciplines early on. Yes, I totally know where you're getting at with that. And here's what I recommend to help you with that. I would recommend getting a calendar, just like maybe a little desk calendar or something. And, one where it's just little boxes for every day of the month, right? And write on the calendar the discipline. Just write it on the top or somewhere on there. Write the discipline that you're trying to do, and then put that in a place where you're going to look at it, where you're going to walk past it. Whether you can put it on your wall next to your bedroom door, so every time you walk out, you're looking at it. In fact, that's where I put mine. And then you look at that discipline and you're like, I'm going to do it. And then when you do it, put an X in the box for that day. And then every time you have an X, it's going to encourage you and strengthen you. And when you don't have an X, here's the thing, it could discourage you. And it did that to me for a long time. It's like, and I would beat myself up. Oh, I don't have an X in my box. But what that's supposed to do is just spur you to action for the next day. those empty boxes can be great motivators because it's like, "Oh, I missed a day. Well, not happening again." And you get to practice forgiveness of yourself
Mhm.
and say, "Yep."
I would, if I may interject or add
Mhm.
on to that, because uh, Kira is actually questioning something I was just about to say. Um, when you miss it, it's like starting over. Here's the thing. And also, this ties into your question of you said, I'm hoping I can find out if I'm doing something wrong or I just need to push myself harder in the simple self control habits. Here's the thing about life is not about beating yourself up. Life is not about necessarily being perfect all the time.
Mm, mhm. True.
What is life about? Again, if you focus on what your goal is, then the problems that happen before the goal, all the problems that happen to get there, they don't matter. In fact, a lot of times it's those things which got you there. Because if you're trying to do something and you're running into issues, that's showing you that it's showing you what you need to change, but it's also there building you up, making you even stronger.
Mm.
Because the point is to go somewhere, to do good, right? To be a person that does and adds good into the world, right? You don't do that by beating yourself up. You do that by focusing on what's the end goal. So when you like have a calendar, right? And I would encourage you go back and listen to everything Joe said. One with Stream Ends, go back and listen to everything Joe said and try to do those things. Because here's the thing: like if you miss a day, that's okay. Not saying that that's good, right? But it's okay because you have tomorrow to do it. And the whole point of you having those things to check off, the whole point of you doing this, again, is not to beat yourself up when you fail, but to get somewhere with it. So if you
Mhm.
miss a day, the goal doesn't change, right? The goal is still to try to get as many X's as possible, to finish it off and to be ultimately become a better person, a stronger person, a person with more virtues and self-control, right? So if you spend any time at all beating yourself up over over a missed day, and you are if you spend time beating yourself up and it doesn't compel you to do better the next day, and it makes you want to just get rid of it and not do it at all, then you're going backwards. If you start to do that, if you start to miss some days and you're like, nah, I'll just give up, then you're going backwards, right? Tell yourself to shut up
Mm.
and say, who am I? I am, you say your name, and I am in control of myself, and I'm going to do this. I don't care if I missed a few days. The whole point of doing this was to see to get better as a human being. Every time you make, every time you do it, every time you X one of those calendar days off, that's your growth. Every day you don't, that's not you getting worse.
And it's not starting over either. I know
It's
it can feel like that,
Mhm. Yep,
but
it's
you
not
already have a track record. It's just a missed day.
right. It's just a mistake. Because here's the thing you don't like, let's say you play the piano every single day. You're going to get really good at the piano.
Mhm.
If you miss a few days, you're still going to be really good at the piano.
Mhm.
If you like right now, I have played the piano like 4 times over the like last, I don't know, 3 months, maybe 2 months, probably 4 times over the last 2 months. All right. And I'm still pretty darn good.
Mhm.
Right? I can play anything I want to play. I can go up to the piano and be like, okay, so I want to do this kind of melody with this kind of chord in the background. All right, let me try it. And yeah, I have to try a few times, but I eventually get it within, a couple of minutes. And I'm like, all right, here we go. This is what I want to do. That sounds great. You know why? Because I used to play it all the time.
Mhm.
And so when you are trying to create a new habit with yourself and you go up and you check off some of the calendar days, those days you're growing. The days that you don't check it off, it's not like you've done anything bad or evil. You haven't done anything evil. You haven't done anything morally incorrect. You've just didn't practice that day, and that's okay. Next day's coming. Let's
Mhm.
practice that day. It's good and important to hold the bar high on yourself, but you have to love yourself above the bar. And what that means is you have to desire the good of yourself above that bar. Because if you don't desire the good for yourself, you'll forget why you're doing something and you'll give up.
Mhm.
You'll forget. And then it'll get hard and you'll be like, why am I even doing this? It's just painful. It's just a waste of time. But if you remember why you're doing it, and that is to become the best version of yourself so you can be more free to be happy. You can be more free as an individual with self-control. You have more freedom. And because then you're not a slave to the things around you, right? And then you have more freedom to be who you want to be, to become the best version of yourself, to obtain happiness and joy and pleasure, right? All that's good. So that's loving yourself. That's beauty. That's beautiful, right? That's why people say you have to love yourself. It's honestly what they mean is you have to desire the best for yourself. If that's your goal, then you know where you're going. And you know everything you do is to that end. So if you make a mistake, it's still to that end. If you try to do something and you just mess something up completely, right, you make a wrong turn on the thing. Your end is still the better version of yourself, the best version of yourself. And making a wrong turn doesn't make you a worse person. All it is that you made a wrong turn. Life
Mhm.
happens.
Mhm.
We mess up sometimes. Oh well, you know, that doesn't define us. We aren't defined by our problems. We aren't defined by our failures. Because here's the thing. I mean, maybe this is a little bit religious, but God isn't looking at you to see all the things that are wrong about you. When he created the universe and he created people, he said that it was good. And so he's looking at you for how much good you are. And he counts all of it. He's not going to be worried. Oh, yeah, she made a wrong turn on some with her car. Oh, no. Oh, geez. Well, I don't know what to think about her now or him, right? Who cares? God doesn't care if you made an accident. God doesn't care. Like he cares, but he doesn't hold it against you. He doesn't think you're a worse person. He
Mhm.
knows you're still you. If you make if you do an accidental wrong turn or whatever it is, you make a habit for yourself and then you forget it one day. He knows you forgot. It's okay,
Mhm.
right? And so if you look at the big picture, if you have your focus, if you have your goals in mind, it becomes a lot easier to help forgive yourself and disregard the when we mess up, when we make an accident, or we absolutely choose the wrong thing. Sometimes we do things that are evil on purpose, right? We do. But again, we are still loved and we still need to focus on becoming the best version of ourselves. Just because we did something wrong doesn't mean we need to lose focus on becoming the best version of ourselves. It doesn't mean we can no longer become the best version of ourselves. It's just something we did, but it doesn't have any hindrance on who we decide we get to become because you have all of your future to do that. And your future doesn't just stop existing when you accidentally or purposefully do something wrong.
Mhm.
So you got to keep trying. If you miss a day, if you set for yourself a discipline and you miss a day, the goal is still the best version of yourself. And complaining yourself into just not just giving up, right? Don't If you complain yourself into giving up, you've missed the point, right? And you know that. So if you start to do that, you just got to be like, you know what? Nope. The whole point was me getting better. This didn't make me worse. This was me messing up, but it didn't make me worse because at least I tried yesterday or 7 days ago. Yeah, I haven't done this for 7 days, but it doesn't make me worse that I wasn't trying. It just makes me who I was already,
Mhm.
which is which is still good. You're still a great person. So don't worry about it. Just pick it up again and be like, yeah, it's kind of like I'm trying to learn the guitar right now, but I don't have all the days to practice. But whenever I can, I pick it up and I'm like, yeah, sweet, I'm improving, even though it's not every day because I can't. Even if like sometimes I know I should and I don't. On certain days, I pick it up and I start improving on playing the guitar. And every time I practice, I get better. I might not see the results right away, but I know that I'm getting better because
Mhm.
after a few weeks, I'm like, oh wow, I can do that now. That's neat. That's cool, right? So it's the same thing for you for whatever discipline you take on. But anyways, I'm gonna give it back over to Joe.
Huh? I was just really into what you were saying.
Sorry.
Like, I was like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah," and then all of a sudden, I'm giving it to Joe. Uh, okay. I did wanna address, the post. I've been diagnosed with high functioning autism, so that difference makes me really insecure about my mistakes. I totally I totally can understand that. Now, just because you've been diagnosed and now you have this label attached to you, it doesn't make you any less of a person. Doesn't mean you have any less dignity. It doesn't mean that, you can't do certain things. It's okay.
Mhm.
And you totally can take on a discipline, and you totally can keep track of it, and you totally can do that. And yeah, and you're totally gonna mess it up, just like me, and it's okay. And,
You know what? Everybody, every normal person thinks exactly what you thought. You said, I feel like normal people would make less mistakes. Every normal person thinks that they're not a normal person and they're the only ones that make all the mistakes. Everybody else has it all together. Like, oh my gosh, why am I so broken? And the truth is, that's everybody. They just don't
yeah.
talk about it. And only because you talk about it to yourself do you notice nobody talks about all their problems, right?
Well, and
So
some people
it's
deny it
all
to themselves, and they
yeah,
talk about how dumb everybody else is,
yeah, it's true. Some people
but
are yeah, honestly, everybody makes an insane amount of mistakes all the time, every day. They just, because you aren't them, you don't notice. School is fine. Like, I don't know why I'm so messed up and just like broken and just weird. And then I realized later that everybody was thinking the same thing.
Mhm.
So do not worry about it.
Yep, I know, it's tough to just say that, but I think Boogaloo sums it up so nice. We're all broken in some degree,
Mhm,
and that is so true. Every single one of us has been wounded. Every single one
mhm,
of us has something that, we don't like about ourselves,
mhm,
something that, maybe we've been hurt. There's all kinds of different things out there that make us feel broken in some area. And that's part of part of our life, and it's okay. And what we do is we try and make it better. We try and, fix and heal and all that. And um I you know, it's okay. And I would really say, Kira, that if you I noticed a way a ways above in the chat, you said something about you don't have that type of a goal. You don't know what type of a goal you should have, or something like that. It was, yeah. I don't really have a good goal like that. I want to have one, but I don't know what I want to do. Okay. And then what I would do totally in this situation, this is just gonna not you can totally tune me out if you want to, because I'm gonna say the same thing again,
la,
and
la, la, la.
that's exercise. That if you read through if you read The Miracle Morning, you read some of Hal Elrod's story, and he was at a point in his life where he was absolutely lost, and he just didn't know what he was doing. He had had success in the past, and he had a lot of success in the field of sales, and then he had success in coaching others and all that kind of stuff. And he had success in a lot of these areas, and he had built himself a nice lifestyle. And then all of a sudden, the economy collapsed, and he lost most of his clients, and like all this stuff happened, and his money went down the tubes, and like everything. And he still had all these expenses because he had a big house, he had lifestyle. and it just all started to go downhill. And he was completely lost. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what kind of goal to set. He just didn't know any of it. And so he talked to a friend, and he was gonna start, kind of just complaining to him and talking about everything that was going on, and just kind of. And sometimes we need to do that. Sometimes we need to vent in order to get stuff out. But this friend of his was listening to him. It's like, okay, and listen to him, let him talk himself out, and he was like, "So, are you exercising?" And he's like, "What? What? That has nothing to do with what I'm talking to you about."
Did
Like,
you just yes, I'm sorry. I didn't say it was bad. I said and then
right. Right, exactly. That was how it was. He's like, "It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Were you even listening?" He's like, "No. Do you exercise?" He's like, I have a hard time getting out of bed because of just the stress and the weight of all this that's going on." He's like, "Well, start exercising." And the crazy thing is he did, and the exercise just clears the fog. If you're having trouble figuring out a goal or what you want to do with your life, exercise can clear that mental fog so you can start to figure out, hey, what's a good goal to run for? You don't have to figure out your life's purpose in order to get a goal. It doesn't have to be that big grand of a thing. It can just be a goal. Like, it's just a simple, hey, I'm gonna do better in my delivery driving. I'm going to run a mile uh by a month from now. It could be just a simple goal. But then what that does is that triggers some stuff in your head, and you can start moving toward things, and a lot of things start to smooth out. But yes, baby steps, Boogabug. That's a great way to put it. Baby steps, because then it's not overwhelming, and you're just taking it one step at a time, just moving forward, and it's okay. And exercise, it doesn't have to be super crazy. Like I said, even if it's just 1 minute of stretching, that counts. Now, you can go for a run, you can do push-ups, you can jump jacks, or if you don't have very much time, you can touch your toes for 10 seconds or something. Just do some stretching,
Hmm.
and that works. And that fulfills the box. If you're going to check the box for the day. Yep, a simple stroll works. Shake your body all around and ragdoll it. Yep, you can do the bounce and kind of shake your hands.
Mhm.
Nobody can see me right now, but I'm doing
I was watching him. I was like, "Wait, that's
it.
mm,
Yep. So anyway, that I hope that you go back and hear some of the stuff Ryan was saying. Ryan in his last segment was just outstanding. And he had a lot of great stuff. So I would go back and listen to that again. Um, and I'll tell you, you can overcome this. You totally can.
mhm,
It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be instant, but you can smooth out this emotional roller coaster that you're experiencing. And you can be free from that shackle of feeling pushed around by your emotions, feeling just pulled around by your emotions. That's so hard. And you can feel so helpless, like I said before. But you can smooth it out.
mhm.
And if you go back and listen to some of the stuff that Ryan was saying for practical, purposes, and you can listen to some of the stuff I said just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, right. You had great practicalities in there.
Yes.
Uh,
Uh,
I'll say one more thing here.
okay.
Yeah. Also, Kira, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure talking with you. I would say this. in the end, you say you don't know necessarily where you want to go with your life, all that kind of stuff. Okay, that's fine. This is what I would 100% recommend at this point. Just just do this. All right. This is my, if you will, diagnosis. Please don't sue me. You can do whatever you want, right? But here's what I'm gonna say. Start exercising. Start there. Just that. Don't worry about anything else. Start there. And then you'll add more as you go. But just start there. Eventually that's going to get easy, okay? Just I don't know, whatever is good for you. Um maybe here's a question. Can you do 10 push-ups? If you can't, start there.
Mhm.
Try to do 10 push-ups every morning. When you wake up, you know, you're when you wake up, don't worry about getting ready and making yourself look pretty. When you wake up, get out of your bed, make the bed, do 10 push-ups. Start there. And maybe you can do 10. Maybe you can only do 5. If you can only do
I
5,
couldn't I couldn't do 10 when I
yeah,
started exercising
that's
again.
fine. Yeah. Now Joe can probably do like an insane amount, like way more than I can. I know. I can do 10. That's about it.
I can do quite a few.
Yeah, I believe it. I bet you can do a lot. Um, but anyways, you start there until you can do 10, right? Or maybe you can already do 10. Then the next step is 20. Um, right? So do 10 every day when you wake up, or as many as you can, basically, until you work yourself up to 10, and then do 10. Or if it's 20, then start doing 10 and then work your way up to 20. But just do that every morning. That's what I'm prescribing you, if you will. Just do that. Then you'll start to work on your game later. You'll start to figure it out as you go. If you accomplish that, then the rest will be a lot easier. And it's not necessarily it's for your mental health as well as your physical health. By exercising, you get more blood flow through the brain,
Mhm.
and it actually gives you more ability to control yourself
Mhm.
because then your brain functions at a higher level. If you spend too much time doing entertainment, it decreases brain flow. And it does that because you're overloading your brain with something, and that is dopamine.
Mm.
And you're sitting there doing nothing physical or mental, and your brain is getting fed all of this dopamine. And then you run out, and your brain is overloaded. And so it retreats, it stops blood flow to certain areas so that it isn't overloaded, so they can take doing entertainment for hours on end. Does that make sense? And that's true
Mhm.
for a lot of things in life.
I
Um,
like dopamine though.
yeah, but you ultimately have less of a reaction every single time. Things start to become more and more boring. They start to become less interesting, and that's because your brain can't feel that as much, because the blood flow in your brain has been blocked, literally. So, what I would suggest, again, I would just say, start with exercise. Start with exercise. Try to do those push-ups and say, I'm going to do it. And then get a calendar and mark those days off. Put the calendar on the back of your door that walks out of your room in the morning, or on the front, wherever you can see it, and say, I will check this box off before I leave my room
Mhm.
this morning, and do that. And so when you walk by in the morning and you almost leave your room and you see it, you're like, oh, shoot, gotta do that real quick. And then you do it. Okay. That's what I'm gonna try to tell you to do, because if you don't know where to go, you might not do anything. I know
Mhm.
that myself. If I was told, hey, these are some suggestions, you do whatever you think will work for you, I would be like, well, I don't know what's gonna work for me. So what do I do? I guess I just won't do anything now because I have no clue where to start. I'm telling you, this is where you start. All right. Because I know myself, and I can't say that you're me, but I'm just telling you like I would tell myself, do that. Do that. That is your thing. All right. Start there. And then figure out what else you can do along the way from there. All right. Once you start accomplishing that. But do that every day. Don't set yourself a limit to when you have to stop. You don't need to. Um, but you can if you want to. But I would just say start there. and I wish you the best on that.
Mhm. Yes, me too. You can do it. You totally can. And I really appreciate you being here and posting and listening and being understanding with our technical difficulties. We do in fact have to wind the show down now. We've been it's we're
About 2 hours and something.
yep, yep, even with the technical difficulties. And I apologize to Sparrow and Boogabug. Um, come back on Friday. Are we are we doing a show Friday?
It's a possibility. It's a good possibility. If not, then for sure we'll do it on Wednesday and the next Friday coming. So we do
Yes.
it every Wednesday and Friday, by the way, guys.
Yep. Every Wednesday and Friday.
Every
Although
once in a
they're
while we have to drop one because of, you know, schedules.
right, we may have some logistical issues on this Friday. So if that's the case and we don't do a show on Friday, I apologize, but we will be here for sure next Wednesday. And yes, please come back. And when you're here, we will handle your topics. I was reading through them, and I really can't wait to talk about them. So I hope you come back next time, whether it's Friday or Wednesday. So please come back, and we love you guys. We're so happy that you put up with all of our issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, and welcome to our first timers, Boogabug and Sam. You guys, welcome, and I'm glad to see you here. Um, Not to say that we don't love all of our regulars, because we do love all of you as well. And go check out the Kickstarter campaign for Ryan's album. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, I don't know what else to say except I love you and Ryan loves you. I'm going to tell you what he thinks.
I do love you.
Uh-huh.
And everybody else.
And
You guys are awesome.
yes, and Jesse's going to fix his PC. Yes, Jesse is our producer. All the technical difficulties are not his fault. He's been pounding away in the background this whole time trying to fix it. Princess Yellow is our chat room hostess. She keeps us on track, and she does a really good job of that. And I don't know. We just thank you guys so much. Go to bss.studio, get involved in the community, and come on back to the show on Friday or Wednesday, whichever is the next one. And we look forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kira, if you're still struggling with this next week, feel free to join back and we'll give you a little bit more encouragement. I mean, there's so much we can talk about the topic of emotional control. I mean, there's seriously so much to it that we could say, even more than we did. So, um, if you need that encouragement, keep coming to Don't Worry Wednesday. We're here to encourage you guys, and that'll give you hopefully the power you need to feel strengthened, um, and carry on with whatever convictions you have. So yeah, thanks guys. We love you, and we hope to see you soon, very soon.
Yes. We love you
Bye bye.
guys. We'll see you next time.
Can't see us waving, but we are.
We're
Bye bye.
waving.